All right, good morning, friends. Yesterday we started talking about time, and I know I heard from several of you that you enjoyed doing that because time is very important. Time management is very important. And knowing when you're supposed to be someplace and when something ends or when something starts, like a birthday party or a movie, it's really important to be able to look at a clock and understand time. This week, what we've been doing is we're really focusing on time to the hour. And if you remember yesterday, we said, and I'm a little clock today, when we're talking about time to the hour, our big hand, that minute hand, right? So let's talk about those parts. We have our minute hand. That's going to be pointing to the 12 as we're talking about time to the hour this week. The hour hand is going to be pointing to the clock numbers. Remember our clock numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then we go back up to 12 again. Okay, and we use that word o'clock when we're talking about to the hour. So for example, if I looked at my clock right now, the clock face, remember that's the part that has the numbers on it. My minute hand, that long hand, is pointed to the 12. So that means I'm going to be talking about o'clock, to the hour. My hour hand is pointed to the 1, so that says it is 1 o'clock. If I move it, now it is 2 o'clock. If I move it again, it is 3 o'clock. I'm going to keep that hour at the 12. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and if they're both pointing to that 12, it is 12 o'clock. Very good. All right. Now, we also talked about that little hand that moves fast around, and we called that the second hand. We're not really going to worry about that today because what we're really looking at is we're looking at that hour hand and that minute hand. That's going to be the important thing we're talking about today, okay? All right, before we go any further, what I want to do is I want to read a quick little story called What is Time? What is time? What is time? And take a look at this clock because you're going to make a clock like that today. All right, so if I look at this clock right here, this is the clock like my clock, right? This is a clock like mine, like we see in our classroom. And right now, that clock right there says, I'm going to flip it over, says what time? My hour hand is pointing to the 8. My minute hand is pointing to the 12. So it is 8 o'clock. Now look, they have that digital clock, which is like that one on your microwave or in your TV or on your car, right? Where it has the numbers. So that 8 is for the hour, 8. And that 00 is for that 12. That's that o'clock on that digital clock, okay? So they match. 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Okay, let's take a look at this clock. This clock, the minute hand's pointing to the 12, so we know it's an o'clock, and it's pointing to the 10. 10 o'clock, and then look at the digital clock. 10, 00, 10 o'clock. Very good, they match, okay? Now let's take a look at this clock. Minute hand's pointing to the 12. That hour hand's pointing to the 2, so it is 2 o'clock. And look at the digital clock. They have a 2 there, right, in front of those 2 dots, so it says 2 o'clock. How about this one? 4 o'clock. Very good. And they have 400, 4 o'clock. Good job. All right. And let's take a look at this page. It says 9 o'clock. Very good. 9 o'clock. All right. Oh, and we can look at some sight words here. Is it. So we can say it is 9 o'clock. Very good. It is 9 o'clock. All right. How about on this one? It is 8 o'clock. Very good. What are they doing at 8 o'clock in the morning? Eating breakfast. Very good. It is 10 o'clock, right? 10 o'clock. And where are they? Looks like they're singing, or maybe they're at school, right? So 10 o'clock in the morning, it's at school. Okay. It is 2 o'clock, right? 2 o'clock and then 2 o'clock with those 2 zeros there. And they are still in school, but maybe painting or in art class. Very good. In the afternoon. It is 4 o'clock. Very good. It is 4 o'clock. The hour hand's pointing to the 4. That 12 is to the 0, so that's an o'clock. And if we look at the digital, it's 4 o'clock. What are they doing? Like a swim lesson after school, right? And it is 9 o'clock. And what are they doing? Going to bed. Very good. All right. So we do different times and different things throughout the day. And what we're going to do right now is I'm going to ask you to go ahead and get out this worksheet right now called When Do You? Okay, and let's go ahead and write our names up at the top of that page. Okay, when do you? And then what I'm going to ask you to do is down at the bottom, there are 8 little boxes. Can you go ahead and cut those out for me? Okay, and we're going to figure out when do we do things. All right, because like in the book, they showed us different times that they were doing things. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to figure out when do we do things. All right, so go ahead and get those cut out for me. All right, so you should have 8 little squares in front of you. And then you should have your paper like this, okay? And then have some glue with you. And then we're going to figure out when do you do different things, okay? So let's take a look. So at the top it says morning, afternoon, and evening. Remember in the morning when it was 8 o'clock a.m., what kinds of things were they doing? They were eating breakfast and going to school. In the afternoon, what were they doing at like 2 o'clock? Maybe at art class in school or maybe a swim lesson, right? And then in the evening at 9 o'clock, what were they doing? Going to bed. All right, very good. All right, let's pull up this little card first. This says, see if you can read it. See the moon. When do you see the moon? Morning, afternoon, or evening? Now, sometimes you might see it up in the sky, but when do we really see the moon? The evening. Very good. All right, so put a little bit of glue right there. And let's go ahead and put see the moon. Okay? All right, why don't you get this one out? Wake up. When do you wake up? In the morning. Good job. So we're going to put that right there. Okay. When do you finish school? When do we finish school? Do we finish school in the morning? Do we finish it in the afternoon? Or do we finish it in the evening? Usually we finish it in the afternoon. Very good. So we're going to put that in our afternoon. Good job. All right. Next one, let's take a look at it. When do you eat breakfast? Now, sometimes we have breakfast for dinner in our house too, but when do you really eat breakfast? Not the foods, but the meal breakfast. In the morning. Very good. So we're going to put that right there. In the morning. Okay. When do you go to bed? Remember in the story? They said it was like at 9 o'clock. When do you go to bed? In the evening. Very good. Okay. All right. When do you eat lunch? In the afternoon. Good job. And let's look at this one. Go to school. When do you go to school? In the morning. Good job. Okay, it's going to fit in there. And the last one we have, when do you eat dinner? In the evening. Good job. All right. So we just sorted when do we do all different things. In the morning, we wake up, we eat our breakfast, we go to school. In the afternoon, we might finish school, eat lunch, and in the evening, we can see the moon, go to bed, and eat dinner. Okay, so what you're going to do right now also is you're going to make a clock and a watch. But what you have to do is you have to make the times match. So for example, in this one, remember, when they said it was 8 o'clock, the clock hand, the hour hand, the big one pointed to the 12 and the little one pointed to the 8. And then the watch said 8:00. So they matched, right, for 8 o'clock. And then they did that for 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 4 o'clock. What I'm going to show you right now is I'm going to make mine match. And I'm going to make it for, let's see if you can see what time I make mine match. And then you can show me on Flipgrid what time you made yours match. So I'm going to make mine right now, and then I'm going to see if you are able to tell me what time I made my clock. Okay, and then I'm going to cut out my clock. I'm going to do a quick cut here. Okay. And on Flipgrid, you're going to tell me what time my clock and watch said, and then you're going to show me yours. So you're going to look at mine and see if you can tell me what time my clock and my watch say, and then on Flipgrid, you're going to show me what time your clock and what time your watch say. Okay? All right, my friends, good job, and I'll see you later.